Okay, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This channel I will share to us my journey of learning, building and understanding technology, especially AI technology, software development and other Okay, technology is not just all about learning how to use it. Most times it's necessary for you to understand what you are using. Possibly if you are in tech, this isn't just all about learning how to use technology. We want to understand how to build this technology, when to build it, why should we build it, when shouldn't we use it, or when should we use it. And today we are going to start with something that has become very important in modern AI, which is AI agents. Most have heard about AI agent, AI assistant, agentic AI, tools calling, but what do these things actually mean? We all use ChatGPT, where you ask a question, it gives you back an answer. But what happens when we want an AI to do something for us, like plan an event, execute a task, or continuous communication with client, respond an email, or send an email to client? How do you go about that? What if I tell AI, check the current time, calculate something, search the database, call API, perform an action? This is where it gets interesting. In this video, I'm going to break down what AI agent actually is, how it works, what tool calling means, and I will show you how I built my first AI agent. I'm not coming to you as someone who knows everything about AI. I'm only trying to share or to let you know about what I'm learning or how far I've gone and document my learning journey, because I'm also learning. It's a learning journey that I'm taking. Alright, so it's time to dive into the code area. Know that we are writing like code, though I'll be showing the code that I've written already and show you how it works, explain everything in there, explain the terms and all the logic that is happening there, then explain the terms like AI agent that we are talking about, the do's and don'ts, AI agent. We'll talk about the tool calling that we were talking about since, then we'll talk about other things that will come across. So let's join me as we begin the journey. Okay, this is my Windows now showing. What you're going to do now, okay, though I'm using different operating system because I know majority of you guys will be making use of Windows, I make use of Linux, but the syntax and everything I'm going to be using is almost the same. You get? So anyone, though, if I'm writing anything, because I'm going to deal with command majorly, if I'm writing anything, any command that I'm writing, I will see reflected in Windows to show you how it look possible look on Windows. If in case you tried it and it didn't work, you can actually make research about it. This, then definitely you'll get the correction. But hopefully I should be able to get it right because I used Windows before. Alright, having said that, let's begin with the work today. Alright, this is my Windows open now. Yeah, this is my Windows open now. So what you're going to do first is just press on hold your Control J. What this sound does is just to open your command prompt, because that is what you're going to make use of in writing our command. Or if in case you want to make use of the normal route, you have your on your top nav bar here, you have your terminal. If you click on your terminal, you see new terminal. You get, if you click on it, you see it to open to give you the same result. The shortcut, we Nigerians, we love shortcuts. Shortcut, where your control, then press on your J. On your command, on Mac, the same thing. Where your command, see your command, then press J to give you the same result. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, like I said, we are trying to generate, if you look at my title of my file, this thing what's usually called is root directory, because that's where I want to store everything about this project I want to do now. Remember the project we are doing, AI agents. So what we are trying to do now, I want to show you how I build my simple AI agent. So I title it to be my first AI agent. You can do the same or give it a name that's preferable to you. Just give it a name that's preferable to you. Then after that, the first thing I'm going to do, okay, you know how I believe majority of you guys or all of us have installed our Python, because you need to have your Python to run, because everything I'm going to make use of is Python. For most of us that doesn't have any knowledge on Python programming language, you can drop your comment on the comment section, then I will know You can just talk about it, learn it together, get. So what we plan to do today what I plan to do today, sorry, is to show you guys how I built my first simple AI agent. Get. So I'm not going to dive more on basic of Python programming language, but we can still talk about it. To be funny about everything. This video is my first video to be uploaded online. I am actually a very shy person. I don't like speaking to screen, but I have to. Things to be. I have to, so that this one or two will be put in place. You get. Alright, so we'll begin. The first I'm going to do, we're going to show you. Going to initialize our project. Further, how am I going to do that? In Python, after installing Python, we install the packages and all that. One of the packages is called pip. What the pip does is just to help you to install that packages that work with Python. What packages, I mean the libraries and everything that work with Python. Like for example, now we want to install anything, we can do is pip. But I preferably use UV, and I prefer UV because it's more dynamic. UV. Just give me a minute. Let me check. Alright, like I was saying, we are going to install the packages now or to work with. Then what major thing or the most common package installer or whatever we use to install packages in Python is pip. But so recently we have come up with another installer that is more lightweight, fast and all that, which is UV. You can search about it, then you install it on your PC if you want to make use of it. Though whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to use it in pip, also use it in UV. You see, anyone you prefer. For example, I want to make use of UV. Before that, I have to first of all initialize my project. You get. Though I've installed my Python, I believe you guys have also installed your Python. Then I have to create an environment. That's what I mean to initialize the project. I want to create an environment, my Python environment, so that the Visual Studio Code, which is the code editor, will be able to understand that, what is happening here is Python. This is Python environment, so that it will activate every properties of Python in this code base. You get. So how do we do that? I'll say Python. Because I'm using Linux, I'll say Python 3. But if I'm using Windows, I'll just say Python. Then say Python 3 for me that is using Linux. If you are using Mac, Python. If you are using Windows, Python. Then Python, then I'll say -m. Then I will create my environment, which is ven. At least you can store it anything. venv space dot the folder where I want to store it, which is the directory where I want to store it. venv. Then I'll hit enter. It will run and initialize it. If you look at I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. If you look at my cursor, see, though it gives me an error, which I believe is not supposed to be, but I'll check. See, keyboard interrupt. Okay, I interrupted the keyboard. Okay, let's rerun it again. Let's see what happened. I interrupted the keyboard. Okay. Immediately you run it, then we get it. It's working fine now. Why it happened? Why I get that error? Because I went and interrupted the keyboard. I went and moved my mouse and everything, the keyboard, whatever. So it got interrupted. Though everything was created. If you look at this other side, which is the right side bar, you see my folder created .venv. This is the Python environment. I've actually initialized the environment now. So because I want to make use of the UV package installer, not pip. If you want to also make pip, before you do this, I want to do now, make sure you install it on your PC. You must install it just like Python, and you must install it. For install it, just search and you can go to any browser, any search engine, type in UV package installer for Python, whatever. Then you run it. It will give you step by step how you should install it. We are not doing that today. Alright, you install it on your PC. After installing it in any package, in any environment that you want to use in building your project or writing a project, first of all initialize it. How do you initialize it? Just say UV init. Immediately say UV init, you run it, you see what happened here now. You see it creates git ignore for me. I will explain what it is. It creates a Python.version. That one, it doesn't actually just to tell us the version of Python they are making use of. If I click it, you see what's happening here. It's telling me that I'm using 3.12. That is what I'm using currently now. In future or whatever one time you're watching this video, it might be different. So this is initial file. Say main.py. I'll come back to this. Okay, this is like a package where all the packages are installed, are shown, telling you, okay, this is the package that you're making use of, the version and everything are installed. Then this is readme, just like where you can store your documents, document everything that you're doing. It's not that important. Alright, after this, so the next thing to do, remember that I said we are going to do create a AI agent. So the AI agent I'm going to create just to create a project, have a project that can calculate, like carry out mathematical operations, check current time. Usually go to just to do this one, just these two today. When in our future videos we can talk about maybe a tool calling who can our agent can use to call a tool, the tool calling. Okay, I think it's time for me to explain what it means by tool calling, to call a tool or whatever. When we say tool calling, it actually means it's actually a mechanism that allows an AI agent to interact with an external world or external packages, external software, to give ability. It gives ability to execute a first software function. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to explain. So what I'm saying is that a tool calling or a tool call is actually a mechanism. It's actually a mechanism that allows an AI agent to interact with an outside world or outside the environment. Like for example, now we'll create an API, create a Python environment before we start this project. You can remember when we write our command, the terminal, I will say Python. For me, that is using Linux, I put Python 3 because that's what I'm using for Linux. For Windows, it's just Python and space hyphen m space vmv, and that is the package I'm installing, and then the environment, the folder I want to install, the environment .env, then initialize it. So this now is my environment, Python environment. You get, so now this is the environment where everything's running. So to call external, to get information or get external data from outside this environment, we actually carry out to call it. Let's say for example, if we want to call API, we want to go research engine. Remember when we want to search to Google, we want to get information from the internet and all that, is a to call it, because we are getting information from the external environment. So that is what it is. When we say AI agent, AI agent is actually an artificial intelligence system that can perceive. Remember that we said we'll talk about tool calling. That is ability or mechanism where AI agent can have access or get information from external environment. So we are not saying that AI agent is an artificial intelligence system that can perceive. What do we mean by perceive? When we say perceive, we mean can get input, can get instruction. The input instruction that they're getting, it might be in file, it can be in text, it can be in picture, it can be in sensors data. Remember Internet of Things. You get, so it can be in that form, it can be in videos, text, picture, image, any format. As far as it's getting it from the user, that is perceive. That is what we mean by perceive. Perceive its environment, not only perceive from user, it can also perceive from environment and its environment. The user can type in something. This is getting something from external user. Then it can still get this perceive something from environment, that what is already in the system, in that environment that it is. Can perceive it, you can perceive from user input, data file and all that, then and make After specific, it makes autonomous, it makes rigorous decision about it. It takes an action, it takes an action to achieve a specific goal. Remember when we were talking about, when we were trying to introduce this particular course, we were trying to differentiate between AI, one AI to the other AI, differentiating AI agent from other AI assistant, whatever. We say that AI agents will not only work by just getting information and give you feedback. It takes information, give you feedback, execute everything, plan, work around everything to make sure that that goal is actually achieved before it stops. It's not like other AI platform where you can just send instruction, it give you response, then stop. It doesn't work like that. AI agent is system, AI system, artificial intelligence system that takes same information either within or outside the environment, then execute it until achieve a specific goal. And does it work? How it works is that first of all it perceives. Remember when we say what perceive means, perceive, get information from user or external environment, then it automates. How do you automate? It utilizes LLM. What does it mean by LLM? What does it mean of LLM? The full meaning of LLM is large language model. It's an environment. So like we have our engine, no human brain, that is where all the decisions are made. After getting the input, it processes it in this LLM, the engine of the system, analyze the information, plan and all that. That is what happens in this LLM. Remember what I said LLM is? LLM is actually large language model. That is the engine where everything happens. The analysis, the calculation, the planning, the executing, that is where all happens. It plans, then interact with tools, external body, external object, and all that. Interact with everything to make sure that that specific goal is achieved. That is what we mean by AI agent. I believe I'm able to explain what AI agent is and also what to call it is. Alright, so as we go, we'll also dive more, or I will explain other agent or other things that we'll come across. Alright, so let's continue. First of all, we have just initialized our environment, which is by creating we create an environment and initialize is installing installer to install our packages. So one of the things that I usually do again is to create a file where I will arrange or file up all the packages that I'm going to make use of for reference purposes. Because most times after using, you might not even know, I make use of this. But if you have all of them stored in one particular file, you can make reference, when you are checking what I make use of here, when the order install to achieve this, you'll be able to get all of them. Alright, so now first of all, we are going to create some files and folders. Now I'm not going to go straight to creating it manually, which we're going to do here. We can do that, but I want to show you how to do all that in one go, like to write a command to achieve that. Alright, let's say for example, you want to write a command. First of all, verify if you are in that folder, in that project, in that root directory file, like we use the right terms. The root directory, what we call our folder, the directory we're using is first AI agent. And if you look at this place, you see that it's reflecting that file, that shows that we are in the right directory. So what I'm going to do now, I want to create another subdirectory, subroot directory, or subfolders in this root directory, then create some files directly in this root directory. So one of the files I'm going to create, let's first of all create a file. One of the files I'm going to create is the environment, where I'm going to store all my keys and all my secrets that I don't want to show to the public. So I can call it .env. So how will I do that? You can just type in touch, then you type in the file you want to create. Say .env. Then I'm not creating just this. Alright, so I have other files that I want to create. So one of them again is remember that file I told you where I want to store all those So I want to create something called require. So all the requirements that I'm in use of in this project. So I want to store all of them here. Here the requirements. Then after requirements, I want to also store. Do I have any other file? Not for now. I think just these two. If the other one is currently in existence, so I will say no. I think I have one again. So it is called sorry. It is called AI loop. I'm coming to explain all this in agent loop. Agent underscore loop dot py. Make sure you end each file by the end the file with appropriate name. Like for Python, usually use py. So the essence of this is for search engine or the code editors to be able to identify or be able to tell what this folder is, the role that is playing, what should be used or is used for, the properties that should be activated for this file to function well. For example, now we have .env. So this is just environment variable. So this environment variable where you store like test life something, then you can make it reference to it. Then you have requirement.txt. What this txt means, test, it's just a plain test. So even if I'm writing code then nothing happens, it will interpret to be test. You get? So this tst will help the code editor to understand the type of file it is. Then we have another one of agent underscore loop dot py. Then this py now, this dot py actually categorize this file into Python file. Then code editor can be able to understand that, oh, this is Python file. Then it will activate all properties of Python in that file. Yet, for example, we have this default file that was created when we initialize our UEFI installer. You see that main.py is a Python file. So right after that, we'll just hit enter to run. Then with this, it will create all the files that we just repeat in there. We have .env, we have requirement.py, we have agent.loop. Alright, that is that for that. Then we want to create another folder, which is subfolder. This subfolder, we'll talk about to want to build a calculator and a system that can read current time, right? So I want to categorize all this because I don't want to make use of, for most of us that have gone through basic of Python, we know that Python can carry out mathematical operations, right? It can check current time, but I don't want to make use of all those inbuilt properties. I want to make use of a tool. It's actually a good thing, right? For time for current time is within 2. You get it's within 2. You can call within outside. Then also want to use create a tool for calculator, to calculate it. So I want to arrange all of them and put them inside a folder called tool. So the folder is now a subfolder on inside the first AI agent that we are making use of as our root directory. So I'm calling the folder as tools. So to create a folder, the command is mkdir. What this means is make directory. Remember what we called our folder, that we store everything. We call it to be root directory, meaning the beginning of everything, where the source of everything, where everything is inside. That is why we call it root, right? Then to make a directory, we're trying to make a directory which is a folder for non-tech personnel. It's called a folder. Then to make a directory, we have mkdir, meaning make directory. Then I'll put the directory name. I want to call it as tools. TOOLS tools. Then I'll hit enter. Automatic, I'll have my tools created. Currently it's empty right now. So I want to create files inside, like that a Python file, like that calculator file, call a current time file. Then I'll have a register that will compile everything, the calculator and current time, so that I can call anyone. I don't want
like to have a break, definitely, just like Nigeria, we have our headquarter. You get, if anything want to happen, have to come from that headquarter, right? We have other branches and all that. So I want to have the files, then have a headquarter, which I'm going to call as a registrar, alright? So now I'll have to create those files. I want to create them inside it too. First of all, I have to navigate into tools file folder. So how will I do that? I will just say cd, meaning carry to directory. I want it to take me inside the tools directory. cd, then I'll call tools, then I'll hit enter. Immediately I hit enter, you see what's happening here. Before it was just first AI agent. Currently now I have first AI agent slash tools. Now I can create my folders here. Remember how we create our folders initially? When we say touch, then for the file name, sorry, how we create our file. When I say touch, then start putting the file name. So then I can repeat the same thing but different files. Then we just say touch. Then what file are we creating? I can just call it to be tools underscore calculator calculator.py. Since it's Python file, so I have to end with .py. Then I'll give a space. I'll call it tools again. Two, not tools. This time no s. Then underscore. Let's say. Let me just say. No need of tools. Let me just call it calculator. There's no benefit in calling long name. Make use of long name. Just a space. Then I'll just say comment. Why I have to do that? Because of this the name I want to give this one. It will be very long if I make it. If I add tools again, I have to remove it. Then say comment type dot py, right? Then after that I will then say tools underscore registry. You know how registry, especially for Nigeria, we know how we call, say if you are in school, they'll start calling registry. Your former says will just call them register, call registry, this person has sent and all that. So that's what this guy want to do for us. We want to call the register or this to be the registrar to call each tool. Then I'll end it with py because it's a Python file. Then after that, that is all. I think I just hit enter. Then we'll check our file. Let's see if we're able to get it right. It's correct. Now we have the 3 files in it. Alright. Then we want to return back to our root directory. You get, so that we can easily call any of them. To return back to root directory, we just say cd, meaning carry to directory. Then which directory will taking me? I want it to take me back. I will just say double dots. This double dot means turn back to the previous directory. Then I will hit enter. You see now we are back to the root directory. So that is how it works. All these things that we just did here, we can also achieve it using just this to create a file. Let's say for example I want to create a file. I can just click on this, then I'll put in the name. But first, before you do that, make sure you're able to tell where you are. For example, I want to create a file in the root directory. I just come here, make sure I'm pointing to the root directory. Then I'll create a file, click on this file, then I'll press on the file. If it's a folder I want to create, I'll click on this icon, I'll create a folder. Right, we'll achieve all of them. But this one, preferably, because I just prefer that anyone, I just prefer I don't have any reason. I think it's faster. For example, especially for situation where you want to create multiple files. Right, so that is how it works for file creation. So I think I'll be able to explain what's happening here. Have I? I think so. Yeah, I think so. I have a gent loop. Okay, I think it's time for this is time for me to explain the loop before I start showing you each one of the meaning of each code that I've actually written it. I'm not writing it from scratch now. I've written it before. I'll just bring it up and explain each one of them. Alright, what do you mean by loop? Because I just name a file agent loop. So what is going to happen there is that I want to call a loop. Then what is a loop? A loop is a programming structure that repeats a block of code automatically within a specific condition. Okay, sorry. Let me come again. You say that a loop is a programming structure that repeats a block of code automatically until a specific condition is met. That is a loop. We moving round until a specific goal is met. If no goal is met, it will continue moving around, looping forever. So until goal is met. So that is what loop is. That is what we're going to do there. So we're going to write an operation where it will be looping, it will be calling. We say that AI agent actually work until achieve a particular goal, until achieve the goal. It doesn't stop. Right, so that is what I have to for looping so that it will align with what we are talking about. Okay, alright, so that is what loop is about. Just a continuous calling of function or program. Okay. Alright, so let's begin with writing of code. Remember, we created a file called requirement, which I told you where we're going to store all the requirements, everything that we're going to make use of, or the packages that we're going to make use of. Alright, so if I open it here now, so this is the file. So if I open it, you see now we have Google hyphen Gen AI. So what this is actually is I want to install Google Gemini AI. I know that Gemini AI is Google AI. So I want to make use of their API. I want to call their API. So that is where, remember the tools when we talk about tools. So I want to call external package, external listen. I'm making use of their AI. So also installing Python. That's on Python -env. So what this one does is just to help us call, because I'm not storing the secret, the key. That remember the API that I called. I'm not storing the key that Google is giving to me. I'm not showing it to the public because it's secret. So I have to keep it secret. So where I store it in secret, where I kept it secret, so I have to call it. To be able to call it, I have to make use of this Python -env. So where I stored it is this .env environment variable. So to be able to call this env, call every file, every lines of code that is in there, I have to make use of this package. Then we have simple ava. This one is remember operation, mathematical operation. To be able to carry out simple mathematical operation. I don't want to make use of normal method of Python, something like eva method. I don't want to call this. Why? Because it's not that smart, and it's not that let's say I just know. I just prefer something like this. It's not that small, it's not that I just prefer making use of this. So I'll have to install it. It's a package. I have to install it. A package of a module. So preferably it's called a module. The package. I have to install the module. It's Python module. Not to just call the method. If method, but I just want to install the module and call the module. Alright, so that is it. Let's say for example I want to install it. I'll just open my terminal. If I open my terminal, then I'll just call okay, let's say I want to use pip. Now, can you say pip? If let's say for example we don't have the UMV, I can say pip. I want to install this or this one after the other. Though I've installed it, to do that I'll just say simple ef then okay, after pip I'll call install. I'll tell you what to do. Pip install this, I'll hit enter, then it will run. Then if you look at what it's showing here, say requirement already satisfied. So requirement I've already installed it, that's why it's showing like that. So if you run your own, it shows that the same thing. Let's say for example I want to, after installing it here, I want to install everything once. Right? I want to install everything once. I can use pip install. Then if I want to use pip install, I want to install everything once. I'll just call pip install. Then I'll say -r to differentiate the test from file. Let me sorry. Then I'm telling pip that what I'm bringing is a file. So install what is inside that file. Know that you are installing the requirement.ts as a module. Alright, if you guys understand, it's a requirements.txt. Immediately I hit enter, it runs. Oh, sorry, I think my spell error. Alright, so let me correct it. That is the error that's showing there. Requirements, I forgot to put E. Alright, so I have it now. So if I hit it, see what's happening. So everything, look at it. Telling me requirement already satisfied, requirement already satisfied. That is if I want to make use of pip. But if I want to make use of UV, which I'm making use of, I just say UV. If I want to install just particular one, I'll just say UV add. There, I'll install this. I want to install Google and just hyphen Gemini AI. Then I'll hit enter. It runs and it's a resolve. Okay, already installed. If I want to install all of them once, I'll just say UV. Then say add. Remember that enter dash R. And I'll say requirements. S.txt. It runs the full package. So that is your. So me personally, I prefer using this file so that I can install everything once. Since I know what I'm going to make use of in my project, I'll have all of them stored in the file. Then I'll just run the file, not for me to be running one after the other. Get? I believe you understand what I mean. Alright. Then we have another file that I'm going to explain. If I'll go deep. Alright, this is my this is the file name. We have Gemini AI. Then you put in your API key. To get the API key, you just search Gemini API key on your browser, any search engine at all. Then it will open up to you just for you to create an account with them. Definitely you have a Google account, sign up. Then you have to generate your key. You can give it a name, any name at all. Generate your key. Then that's might help. Please don't copy my API key. It's personal. Yeah, please don't copy my API key. It's simple, it's free. You're not paying for it. That's why I use Gemini. I didn't use OpenAI. As when you use OpenAI, you have to pay. That one is not free. So I have to use Gemini because it's free. It's just for you to go to your Google account, Gemini API key, then whatever, get your API key. It's very simple. You can just type Gemini API key on your Google search engine or any search engine at all. Then it will open for you. Then log in. Then create your API key. It's very simple. You don't need to copy my API key. It's personal. Alright. Then after that, we have this guy is not necessary. He just created in the process of creating initializing our UV. I have created. This is the environment that we created. Oh, okay. I almost forgot something. No, remember we created the environment. Now, after creating the environment, we want to activate it. Okay, we want to activate it. Almost forgot. We want to activate it. How do we activate it? How we activate it is like this. As far as you're in your root directory, where you create your environment, then the next thing you should do is to say source space, then you call your environment. Then the environment is dot, then where you store your environment dot venv slash bin, not bin actually, it's bin. Then if I open this guy, you should see the file. Look at the file I'm calling. So I call this folder, then I call this bin. Inside this bin, I want to activate this guy. I want to call this activate. Then I'll just say slash activate. Alright, so for most of us, especially if you're using Windows, I have to show you how you come about this so that you'll be able to put in your own. I don't know about Mac, but for Windows it's actually script, not bin. It's actually script, something like this. You check your this in the way you see how I should bring it out. Just a script. This size actually is from Windows. Then for emails we have it like this. Then immediately after that you hit enter, it will activate. How do you know that it's activated? So how to know is that you will have your environment. You have your environment folder reset.env that I name my own as. You might not be, your own might not be the same name with my own, but you have the environment as like environment at the beginning of the right, which is at the left hand side. Then you have it to start the alright, that is it. So with this now I can run the process, run Python, run anything. For now you can run, if you run it tell you not found because you are not in the environment. It must be in a compound of a man before as of a man, you get. So now as after Python or the first after everything we are doing here, we can ask after everything that is happening in this AI now, this project we are doing now, because we are already in the compound. But assuming you are outside the compound, you can't answer. If you ask it, so I don't know who you ask after, you get. So that is what's happening here now. Now we are going to activate the environment. If you want to deactivate it, maybe you want to end it, you want it to be active again, then you just for you to type deactivate. Okay, deactivate. I believe most of you guys saw me when I was deactivating mine to show you how I activate it. Then that is environment now. Then we have tools. Okay, before we go to tools, I think I'll talk about env. Then we have .git ignore, which we also created, when we initialize our env. Then git ignore, you store your .env, because remember I said that the env is where you store the environment variable, is where you store your secret keys, your KPI keys and everything, because it's not meant to be shared with anyone. It's personalized secret. You get secret, especially we that are developers or everything. We know if the side effect of that, if in case any person sees, or even AI engineers know the side effect. For example, I'm using OpenAI. I won't even show you the key talk for you to screenshot it or copy. I won't even show you. I only talk about, I will play the variable before I will get them, the environment before I get there. I will show you, just type the name of the variable. Then after I will end everything for the API key, I won't show you. So because that one is not paid, it's free. So I have to, but that doesn't mean you should copy, even if it's free. You should not copy. You just get your own. Is it? Alright, so that is it. You have to put in there what it means is you are telling Git, because we're going to make use of Git to push it to our GitHub. You're telling Git to ignore all this file that is here. Don't push all this file that is here to the GitHub. Okay, like that. So we have this file here, that is Python version. This also tells us the version of Python that we're making use of. That's the only thing that is in here. Then know the pattern of the version of Python that we're making use of. Alright, so we are talking about this. Then we'll have, okay, this is a file. It's not necessary. Then the portal was about this one. Alright. This is where you store the packages, everything that you have installed. You can look at our Google Gemini API that we installed. We installed it. It make use of 2.19.0 version. We have load .env 0.0.1.0. We have Python, exactly. So those are the files. Now let's begin. We are going to start with first talk about the tools. Remember when I explained simple if I said we make use of it for simple mathematical operations, simple calculations. That's what we make use of it. Meaning we are going to call this a module that we stored in our calculator file. Right? I'll open my calculator file. We have already, I told you I've already written the code. I'm only going to explain everything that is happening here. Now the first thing we did here is to install import math module. Get is to install math module. Now the math module, I install math module. Then so again I called this simple learn. Then I import simple if from simple learn. Alright. Then I create this function. I just call, then I call it, give a variable name. I give a variable name, then I'll call the math module, then I'll call the function inside this math, meaning that this is simply a square. Get return of a square. Remember, look at it. Return of a square root of s. Then this is sine. Believe we all know that's how it's happening here. This is called this. So they are all math function, mathematical functions. This is log. This is expression on chart and all that. So that is the function I call of them. This is just a calculating expression to call floats, then give a hint on that is happening here. Alright, so after that I'll show you it's done a float. So what I mean why I have to call it a float, I believe you guys know the difference between float and hint. Alright, so I just want you to return it in decimal, in points, not just in whole number. Alright, so that is it for calculator. I will drop the it's very simple. Okay, let me close my listening so that you can, if you want to copy the code, and just pause the listening and get everything on, everything out, and see how it works. Alright, then that is for that. Then we'll go for simple current time. Current time, very simple. You are not really call the time, import the time. Then that is simple function. Current time and all that. Then we'll go to register. See, this is where we call all those guys. Right. First of all, we import calculator from tools. Each tools is simply the folder. That is this folder. Then calculator. That is this file. Calculators. Then we call the same thing tools current time. Exactly. If you guys are following. Then two function now. Setting a function. Calling this function and just then create another two definition, defining what's happening, everything how it should return my calculation. Right? Then that is my register. Then I will go to my loop. Remember what I said? Continuous looping, continuous running of the function. Alright, so if I open my loop, first thing I did is to call my API. So go the API key, call my Gemini and type, and the tools register. I'm going to tools now because the tools is the center of all the tools. The tools register is the center of all the tools. We can call each of the tools. Then and then define the function and all that. You know, if you look at the function, this register here, look at the function that I wrote here. Say two functions, call it over there, then tools definition. So that is what you're seeing here. I import after when I open this file, then I import these two functions to make use of. Then remember when we install load.env, we install load.env. Why do we do that? It's also for us to be able to call our secret API key. So this is what we are calling the load.env, and we'll call the load underscore.env method. Then we'll declare a variable to call our API key. Then the model version 3.9 is what I'm currently using, 3.6 flash. Then if no API key, look at what's happening here. If no API key, then it should return an error. Gemini API key is missing. You see what's happening here now. If, for example, it runs and it wasn't able to find my API key in my environment variable, because I said it should go and look for it in my environment variable, that the name is Gemini API key. Get. Then if in case it wasn't able to find it, it should return this error. Gemini API key is missing. Alright. Then I declare a variable also. Say client equals to Gemini API key. Then it's done. Then I define I declare a function. A function. Say tools. Convert tools. Then declare for loop for in function. If this equals to alright. Then I'll return tools. Then I declare functions again. Then declare tools. And if y true, if it is true, what is now happens? If it is true, then what these things will happen? Sorry, I have to put everything in one file. Then just function. I believe if we know the basic of Python, we should be able to understand what append means, all these functions, what to print, how to print, the f print and all that, the tone and all that. Try if condition for in looping, while loop, for loop and all that. So we would understand just assume we have. Okay. But if we don't, we need clarification or we need more some touches on that. Just drop it on the comment section, then we'll look into it. Alright, so this is agent loop. This way you can loop around everything that is happening. Then after that, then this is our endpoint where we can call everything. Remember when we talk about capital of a state or capital of a country or capital of a country. The capital, they call it. Yeah, capital of a country. Then after doing everything behind the scene, then this is where everybody gathers to come for execution. Alright, because this I'm not going to call. If I'm running the code, I'm not going to call to it a register or calculator or this. It's this guy I'm going to call, which is the headmaster of the school. You get it? Alright, so agent loop, this is the only thing I'm calling because everything have been injected into this agent loop. So I'm already calling the agent loop, call the agent loop. Then I'll say print my first AI agent, then type exist to quit. If I want to quit, maybe I want to stop because I say it's a loop, it's running continuously. But if I want to stop it from running, I'll just say type exist, then I hit enter to stop. Everything I'm going to run is on terminal. Maybe in future videos will teach you how to make use of Streamlit to view it on the browser and all that. Then we'll deploy to the GitHub and everything. This is just a basic introduction of everything that is happening. In future videos, hopefully we'll talk more in depth of everything. Alright, so we run the loop. Then after that, if you call this my first AI agent, then I'll print again. If I print this, then to quit. While true, then all this happens, then call this function. Alright, so that is it. Okay, let's see what we have here. Let's see how it works. Then the first thing I'm going to do now is just going to open my terminal. Let me first of all clear my terminal. To clear, I'll just type in clear. For most of us are using Windows. If you just Windows, Linux, all of them make use of the same command, clear, to clear your terminal. Everything will be clean. Alright, so let's want to run our code now. To run it, you can either say, for me, because I'm using Linux, I can say Python 3. Then I'll say, I'll call the file which I want to call, which is main.py. I run it to give me results. If you're using Windows, if you're using Windows, you just want to say Python space main.py to run it to give you results. But if, for example, let me exist. This is a minute is running. UV. I've mastered UV a lot, so making use of PIP is I'm finding it difficult to make use of it. If it's UV, I just say UV run main. This is what I love making use of. Then it gives me my results. Now, what are we going to do? Let's say we want to first of all calculate. Let's try calculate. Let's calculate something now. Let's do mathematics. Let's say 240 times. Okay, let's say plus 30. We all know the expected result, which is 270. Let's see if it gives us what we're expecting. Alright, see our result 270. See total calculate. 2 calculator. So the what is making use of. I just build it a illustration, but it will tell you what it makes use of. So now it's telling that it makes use of 2 called calculator. Argument expression is calculating 240 plus 30. Now result is 270. Agent return 240 plus 30 equals to 270. I believe it's clear. Alright, let's say we want to say 240 times. What is my 9 times 100? We all know the expected result, right? We all know the expected result. Let's say, like I said, 2,000, 24,000. Alright, so if we run it, exactly, it gave us what we wanted. Remember what we did? We put our answer in float. So that's why we return this in float and decimal. Alright? Now, not only that, we can call our tool, like our API key. Remember when we make API and our API key, yeah. Then we can call our API key. To call API key, let's say for example, let's say what is artificial intelligence explain in details what AI agent is. Let's see. Alright. Expecting our results to give it a little time. Sorry, my system. Oh, sorry, from their own side. Alright, so let's start. What is artificial intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? Alright, okay, so we'll have it now. Out of. Are you guys following me? See, right. We have an error, that is the first one, so I've seen another one. Say, okay, so agent, which is what we build now. The artificial intelligence AI refers to a simulation of human intelligence in machine or computer system. These systems are programmed to perform tasks that traditionally require human cognitive function, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, perceiving the environment, understanding language, and making decisions. Key concepts of technology. So you see them. We have key concepts of machine learning. We have natural language processing. We have we have computer version. We have robotic and all that. We have category of AI. We have and so many others. So this is how it works. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the meeting, session, learning, and all that. So that is how it works. So successfully we are able to build an AI agent. Alright, so this is what came across. So let me share with us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Have a lovely day.